guys, it's Ahmer here. So today I thought that I would go over my top 5 tips when trying to build and collect video games in 2023. So with this year actually wrapping up, I could not think of a more perfect time, as I constantly get asked, how do you collect video games in this market? Is there any secrets? Are there any tips that you can give me? So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. So with everything going up in price, with more and more people coming into this hobby, there are just so many difficult things that are already going against someone when they're trying to collect and grow their video game collection in 2023. So I thought that I would just share some of my tips and tricks and some of the hard things that I had to learn as I was collecting video games throughout these many years. So before we jump into it, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and go ahead and hit that bell notification so that you never miss out on any of these uploads. So we'll go ahead and jump right into this. Number 1, make sure you guys plan out your action of what you're going to do. Are you collecting video games just to have a massive amount of items, stuff? What particularly are you going for? Are you going for that older stuff, that nostalgic stuff? You know, things that you grew up with, things that may actually be of interest to you, what you want to play, what you really connect with. You have to decide right away what you're going for. Do you want a little bit of everything so that you can learn the history along the way? And you have to, try and figure out what you're really going to hone in on. So when I first started collecting about 7 and some years ago, I started out with collecting a lot of the things that I was nostalgic for. So all of those items, the systems, the games, and I just went for a full Nintendo 64 set. I wanted to get all of the different colored variant systems, and I wanted to go for a full North American set of games. So I started in a time where things were much less expensive than they are today, and they were easily available out there at a lot of different secondhand places. So that is what I started doing at first, and then I just became passionate about it. I wanted to learn the history of video games. I wanted to learn about each and every single piece, and then I really started, changing my things over time. And that is something that you guys don't have to set in on. You could start out one way, and you could go ahead and shift as you go through over the years or over time. And you don't have to keep everything that you originally start out with. So number 1 for me was definitely planning. So I'm trying to focus in on, those store displays, those kiosks, those standees, things that people actually remember when they would go into these stores back in the day, as many of these stores are not around anymore. And then I would say number 2, this one is a very big one. So this one kind of goes together with the community, with making those connections. So anytime that you're getting into something, you have to do your research. You have to know where to find this stuff, who knows about this stuff, and where can you go to get this stuff. So everything about video game collecting for me personally has been connection based. So right away I started doing research, and I started on social media by joining all of those Facebook groups, Instagram groups, TikTok, just the entire community surrounding something that I really was passionate about and something that I really enjoyed. And there's tons of people out there who are just now getting started, and there are tons of people out there who have been in this hobby for many, many years, and they can offer tons of advice if you just reach out and ask them. So, of course, when I started collecting, I didn't know that there were groups out there of people who sold video game displays, the kiosks, the interactive, things that people could actually enjoy back in the day at stores. I did not know that there was an entire market for it, and I found that through Facebook. And then I ended up meeting people who were actually close to my area. I started working out deals with them. I started learning and growing my collection by just becoming interested in that and doing my research. And then always go out there and try and find the video game stores that are closest to you that actually sell retro games and sell all of this nostalgic stuff from back in the day. So connections are definitely key, and when I went out there, I learned that there are tons of retro video game stores, there are flea markets, there are tons of people who set up at these yard sales and flea markets, and they sell this stuff. So if you let people know what you're interested in, even including family, there are so many times that my family knows that I collect video game stuff. Anytime that they want to sell something or get rid of something out of the house, they reach out to me, and we kind of work those deals like that. So connections are definitely key, and nowadays they even make big video game conventions, and they're all around. They're in several different states throughout the entire year, and you could go to these places where you may find items that you just never see in your local stores and your flea markets, on Facebook Marketplace, and literally any secondhand place. You could find all of this amazing stuff at those video game conventions, and you could just surround yourself with people who are just as passionate as you are. So connections are key, and when you let store owners know what you're going for, what you're looking for, they may just give you a call when they get those items in stock. So definitely something that I highly recommend, as I would be nothing without the amazing community and the relationships that I've made in my local video game stores and, just anywhere else. So that is definitely key in today's time. Now, number 3, I sort of covered a little bit of this, but this is to branch out. So just to be something greater than just your particular area, your state, your city, your town, you want to branch out to all of those secondhand places. So I find so many different items that maybe aren't in my 10-mile radius. I try and branch out to the, furthest location on Facebook Marketplace. I'm constantly searching on eBay. I'm constantly exploring new areas, new states, new cities, new towns, and finding more and more video game stores, yard sales, flea markets, and of course the list goes on. So kind of branching out to different areas than what you would normally kind of be into, you'll see that there is a whole different area of items out there. There's so much stuff that's hidden, that's yet to be discovered for amazing deals, and you can find that stuff on the occasion. Like on Facebook Marketplace, I'm constantly traveling, a few hours away to find those deals, to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars less than what I would actually pay in this larger, kind of competitive area that I live in. So this is something that I highly recommend. You have to get out of your bubble. You have to explore different things. And, you just have to branch out and try and find, all of those items that are just waiting to be discovered. There's deals out there all the time, and sometimes you may miss them by just a minute or two. But those times that you actually get those items is amazing. It makes it worth it. It definitely makes growing this collection even better, even more fun when you're finding deals, when you're not paying top dollar for these items, and when you think that you're in the middle of nowhere. You may just find a store display, a cabinet, a kiosk, or something that you have been looking for the longest time. So that is something that I highly recommend. Kind of branch out of your little bubble, and you may just find gold. So number 4, this is something that I see a lot of people do, and it took me the longest time to actually jump into this and kind of go out there and add these items to my collection. So this number 4 is going to be trades and reselling. I'm not talking about creating an entire store, selling everything out of your house, your garage, opening up a location. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you are looking for video games, don't only put yourself into buying what exactly you want. If there's an item out there, like let's say a Nintendo Entertainment System lot, it comes with a system, tons of games, and you notice that you have a couple of the games already, but you really need 20 other games that are in the lot. Don't just go ahead and say no to that lot. Do a little bit of extra work. So pick up that item, pick up that whole lot if it's a great deal, and you can go ahead and sell the system, sell the games. You can bundle it secondhand. You could trade it with people. So definitely trades and reselling are key when it comes into this hobby. And if you don't have all of this time for everything, if you find at least a couple buddies who are collecting like you are, or you trust people that you're willing to send stuff to and trade, then you can definitely do that. I do that all the time. So anytime that I pick up a lot of things that, I may have some of the items, but I don't have some of the other items, I try and make it to where I at least get my money back, or I make a few dollars on top of it, and then I just use that for more stuff in the collection. I see people trading items that they no longer want, they no longer need in their collection, maybe they've already played the game, maybe it's something that they're just not interested in, but there's someone out there for everything. So if you could find that right person who wants to trade with you, maybe you'll get something new for your collection, and you don't have to, just kind of keep unwanted things, and you just don't have to waste money by setting it aside. You can actually use that, it's of value, and then you could just grow your video game collection. So I've done that many a times with a couple local buddies of mine. They'll get games that I already have duplicates of, and then I'll get items that I definitely wanted to grow in my video game collection. So trading and reselling is definitely key in today's time. And then I would say number 5 is probably one of my last larger tips. You have to be patient. I know that it, is difficult today. You want the next big thing. You have this fear of missing out. You definitely want to grow your video game collection. You want to hop on the next biggest trend. You want to grab things before they continue to go up in price. What I'm telling you is to be patient. There are deals out there. Back in the day, they made millions of these video games, and there are still tons out there without, being discovered for all this time. I find amazing deals all the time, and I know some areas aren't like that, but you have to be patient on things. You can't just go out there and spend, an insane amount of money unless you have it to actually spend. But if you're like the most of us, you just don't have that type of money to just go dropping all of the time. You work hard, you get a little bit of extra spending money, and then you want to grow your video game collection. But you have to be smart about it. You can't just go out there and pay full market retail for something constantly, over and over again. With the market kind of being uncertain at this time, where things have definitely went up, but now things are starting to come just down a little bit. They'll never go back to, being worthless or being next to nothing. So you have to be patient. You can't just, get discouraged out there when prices are just up at an all-time high. You just have to wait and see if you can find these items for good deals, because the second that you get that amazing deal for just a couple dollars, and it's this game worth hundreds of dollars, it'll definitely make it worth it, and it'll kind of help you keep going. So just remember those tips, and let me know if you guys are watching this and you have any other tips along the way, because I'm always looking for new tips and tricks to go out there and find more items for my video game collection. But just let me know in the comments below if these are things that you implement, if these are things that are a little bit different than what you do, and if there's any other advice that you can give. So of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out my other videos and stay tuned for more.